candidates who are not official speakers to spend 2 minutes, and your timekeeper is going to give you the signal at 30 seconds, before 30 seconds, before the end of your presentation. We set aside slots for 10 people. We had a few that were unable to attend. We had a few that showed up and filled the slot. So we're going to start off Z. Adam Geer.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Z. Adam Geyer, that you need to hire. Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 2. I'm conservative, I'm a man of faith, I'm a small business owner, and I'm a community leader. And I have decided to run for this office to make a difference for our community. I have experience in running efficient court. As you all know, the pandemic had provided a perfect opportunity to create a court where we can remotely operate and we can also do in-person now. With my previous consulting work, I gained the experience to operate remotely by implementing technology that the small local municipality corporation did not have. So that was my job to make sure that the city brought in technology and we implemented that, and we were able to have courts remotely. And then later on, when we got word that we can now open in person, so I implemented measures to make sure that people were brought in safely, and we were able to mitigate COVID-19 and make sure that there wasn't a spread of COVID. All right, and my time is coming up, so I'm looking forward to serving you guys and looking forward to your vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you. For many years, we had a good friend in that court position, Russ Ridgeway. Many of you remember Russ.
He was in 5-1. He was in 5-1.
5-1.
Oh, 5-1.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Jeff Williams.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is Williams, right?
Yes.
Judge Williams.
Yeah, Judge
Okay. Next is Warren Howell. Warren?
Thank you.
Given the 2 minutes, you'll get about 30 seconds left.
I'll try and get it done quick.
Let's see, Warren.
Been here,
you
sir.
come around and stand over
Been
here.
here
otherwise
71 years.
You'll be out
So
of
I'm
picture,
a
sir.
little older than most of you. But I've been in business for 50 years. I've run everything you can imagine. I had a construction business, I had a manufacturing company, oil field tubulars. And the reason I'm running is because I thought, and I still think, that we need common horse sense in Commissioner's Court. When I saw that map, we need a lot more than common horse sense. We need law changes, because this is ridiculous. I guess Adrian Garcia decided he needed this neighborhood in his precinct, so they ran a little street, one street, and connected that. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway, I have lots of ideals, but I don't have much time to talk about them. I do know that on crime, it started in the 90s when we quit training police officers. So in 2021, people are retiring. There's no one coming up to replace them. They're not there. Then we had COVID. So the judges shut the courts down. Then we got people out on bond. And some of those bonds too low, of course. And then since people have been on the bond roll for 4 years, they don't think there's any consequences to doing what they do, so they keep doing it. So we need to change the laws about bonds. We need to set a schedule where the bond is commensurate of the charges. And since I'm not a politician and I'm not running for, I've got a great job, I'm in an insurance company, so I will never, my brochure is over here, I'll never change my position on anything. If you go to my website, you'll see my position and what I'm gonna do. And I'll never change anything to get a vote. Once elected, I'll never change anything to get reelected because I don't intend to be reelected. Okay? I'm going to the ranch in Llano and see y'all later.
Next, candidate from, for, CD 38, Phil Rubius.
Hi, everybody. My name is Phil Covarrubias. I'm running for Congress, District 38. I know we have a huge field in there. I realize that, and I realize the battle that we're up against. I do everything in my life based on faith. The first thing I do is press my coffee maker button, and I sit and I pray every single day, all guidance from God. I served in the United States Marine Corps as a combat engineer and a primary marksmanship instructor. So your Second Amendment's always going to be safe with me. I grew up in the excavation, infrastructure, business. I work in oil and gas. I work in the plants. I'm the guy with the twin card with the Class A CDL, my Ocean 10 card. I got all that stuff, and that's what I do right now today. I cut my teeth in politics as a planning commissioner because I understand infrastructure. So I went in, that's not a paid job, just volunteer. And I figured I could hit the ground running because I had experience. Now experience makes a huge difference. Most of the people that have run for U.S. Congress have served at the state or local level on some form or another, right? But everybody else that's running in this district, including Wesley Hunt, does not have the experience. I ran a very grassroots campaign for state legislator, and we won by just being honest with the American people. I served on the Finance Committee and the Health Insurance and Environment Committee. And the reason why I'm running again is because direction from God. I don't trust the government. I'm fed up with rhino Republicans. We have our own problems in our party as much as the Democrats and the communists. So I understand all the problems, and you guys do too, but my main focus is freedom. We're going to fight for your freedom no matter what it costs. Thank you for everything. God bless you all, and God bless you.
If you haven't been receiving emails from Mark Goldberg, you're missing some great welcome.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good to see you here. My name is Mark Goldberg. I'm running for Texas Comptroller, and you have to go through, and I started off on this effort, right, not knowing I'd come here, but started off fighting on Chapter 313, which is all these property abatements where they go through there and they're writing down properties by 84%, sometimes 99%. As I went through there and fought that, all right, got the grassroots effort, a lot of folks got involved in that campaign, started calling for senator. We ended the program. We ended the program, Chapter 313, this legislative session. All right, well, it's got a life of its own. These are 10-year agreements. You can file until December 31st of this year. All right, so we're going to be paying for this program. It's $1 billion program. It's $1 billion per year. It is almost 1% of our state budget is not going to government services. It's not going to government agencies. It's going to profits. It's going to profits for corporations and windmills. Right? 1%. I'm sitting there going, hey, that's 1%. And then I go through there, and the comptroller decides in December that, you know what, I'm not going to tell you guys. You took away my 313. I got something else for you. I'm just not going to tell you how much it costs. And it's not going to cost just $1 billion. It's going to cost $1 billion plus. All right? So for the next 15 years, all right, he's just not going to tell you how much this program costs. And I said, no, that's not going to happen. All right? We've got to go through there and fight that. We cannot allow him to do that. So that's why I got into the race. We can't go through there and have 1% of our money going back to these corporate profits. And so I asked for your vote. Mark Goldberg, Texas Comptroller, and I need your help. It's all a word of mouth campaign. It's all internet. It's all social media and everything else. So please, anyway, good to talk to you.
We've got Rick Keller coming up, and speaking for Bird is going to be Mills Worship. Mills, come on.
Gresham. I'm proud to be here tonight to represent my friend Bert Keller, who's running for state representative in District 133. Many of you know that's the one Jim Murphy's stepping down from. Bert has spent his life in this district. He's no stranger to anyone from one end of the district to the other. He served the district as a two-term city council member representing District G, and is currently serving with Commissioner Tom Ramsey as his liaison for special projects. Bert is an engineer, knows drainage projects and infrastructure backwards and forwards. He spent many years in the electricity business and has a lot of good ideas about how to combat the grid problem that we had last winter with the freeze. So, furthermore, I would just like to say that Bert is a guy that people can know and can come to. Many people know him, and he's having great turnout all over the district, great endorsements. And I would just really like to, we've got some material over there if you'd like to read about him. I'd like to urge you to support my good friend Bert Keller for State Representative, District 133. Thank you.
Next we have H.Q. Bolanos.
My name is H.Q. Bolanos, and I'm running for county judge. The reason I'm running for county judge is the GOP has always had a motto of we look at the past to define our future and where we're going. And I'm only going to talk about Harris County. Harris County has changed drastically. 22% are actually individuals that are not going to church anymore. A lot of them don't believe in God anymore. You have a county judge that's very popular. She's been her supporters have thrown money at her so much. She's been in Forbes, she's been in a lot of magazines, and she gives out money to the public. And they're seeing it as she's a savior to society, but at the same time, we are seeing how our society is breaking down. And as we see this, we find that a lot of our Republicans have moved to different counties. They're now in Montgomery County. They're no longer in Harris County. Like in the meetings that I've been to, the major question that people tell me is, how are you going to beat Lena? That you couldn't say that to a Republican in the 90s because whoever was ignited as the representative candidate was actually going to win. Now Harris County has changed. You've seen how our districts are changing now. There is a big population that has decided this is the way that the new way of things is going to be. And we need to change that. And how are we going to start that? With the business owners. The small business owners like myself, like Brian over there, the individuals that have been the silent minority, the silent group that has been always not part of the organization, not really recognized by the organization or acknowledged. And now we ask, let us come out and help, because if we don't win, we might not be supporting in the future. Have one clear.
We're losing a powerful legislator in the northern part of Harris County, and running for his position is Christian Collins. Speaking for Christian is Brandon Kaiser. Brandon?
Thank you all. My name is Brian Kaiser. I'm here representing Christian Collins. Unfortunately, couldn't be here right now. There is a debate with the congressional candidates up in Montgomery County. So just a quick overview of Christian. Christian is endorsed by Senator Ted Cruz. He's endorsed by Texas Right to Life, as well as the Political Action Committee of the House Freedom Caucus. So where we are currently is the Texas 38th, but just up the road 5 minutes on the other side of I-10 is the 8th District. The 8th District, after redistricting, includes that northwestern portion of Harris, western Montgomery, northern Montgomery, southern Walker, all of San Jacinto, and all of Polk counties. And for Christian, it was just really important that we get to the entire community. Now that Kate is part of the 8th, never has been. He wants to make sure that we get out here, we hear your concerns, and hopefully we get your support. So I'm not going to take up too much time. I do know that in the future Christian is planning on being here, and hope to have you out again then. I do have some lint that I'll put over on the table. Thank you all.
Next, speaking for Don Huffines, and Don will be here in February, is James Pressler. James?
Good evening, everybody, and Gail, thanks for letting me be one of the ones that did not register in advance, and so I'm filling a spot. My name is James Pressler. I'm the Houston Regional Field Coordinator for the Don Huffines for Governor campaign. I'm here with my colleague tonight, Sean Scott, and we may have another one joining us. Don Huffines is running a campaign for governor that everything is being produced in-house. We have an in-house TV studio. We have a list of 12 field offices, everyone on staff, no consultants. He's doing this because he knows there's a need in Texas for an actual Republican. So let me tell you a little bit about him. He is a self-made businessman. He's in real estate development in the Dallas area, along with his twin brother Philip. And he is father of 5, grandfather of 4. This is a brand new push card because they had the 4th grandchild not too long ago, so we've got new information now. I wanted to put them on there. Also, he exposed one of the largest government corruption scandals in the Dallas area and sent 3 people to prison over that. He never took a penny of money from the state when he served in the Texas Senate. He is one of very few in modern history, if not the only one, to never take a penny of government money. The reason he didn't do that is Don felt that he was elected by the people to serve the people. He wasn't elected by the people to get a paycheck from the government. So, he's 100% pro-life, 100% pro-gun, 100% pro-Texas, and he will secure the border, he will secure our elections, and he will work to end property taxes with a constitutional amendment over an 8 to 10 year time span. Thank you all so much for your time.
Our next 2-minute speaker is Ray Van Norman, for 311th District Judge.
Yes. Thank you. So yes, my name is Ray Van Norman. My website is vannorman4judge.com. Please check it out. I got some cards over here. I am running to bring Yale Christian values back to the family court system. We've heard a lot about the criminal court system. It's a mess. But the family court system's a mess too. Some of the problems are that the judges aren't even showing up to work. They aren't working a full day. The dockets are backing up. Families are not getting their issues resolved. We need to change that. The people of Harris County deserve better. I'm Ray Van Norman. I'm running for Family District Court 311. Thank you very much.
And our final speaker is Todd Frankfurt. Todd, come on up.
Hi, best for last, right?
According to you.
That's right. My name's Todd Frankfurt. I'm running for the 308th Family District Court, and I agree with everything he just said.
I'm voting for him.
I agree with everything he just said. I'm a board-certified family lawyer. I'm the only Republican who's a board-certified family lawyer running for the bench. I'm a nationally recognized expert in the area of family law. I'm the only one, Republican or Democrat, who can say that. It is super important that we get out and vote for new judges to take over the Harris County Courthouse. It is incredibly important. Right now, we've got judges who I feel like they're flipping a coin to figure out which way the wind's going to blow. It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be based on the rule of law. That's what I'm going to pay attention to. That's what I was trained to do. That's what the citizens of Harris County deserve. My name is Todd Frankfurt for the 308th District Court. Please get out there and vote for me.
State Republican Executive Committee, Ms. Becky Green. Becky?
Wow, I didn't know I was one of the most important people in the room. I don't quite know how to respond to that. I want to tell you I am Becky Green. I am on the State Republican Executive Committee, for those of you that don't know what that is. And I find everywhere I go, there are a lot of people that go, I don't know what that is. It is the board that essentially runs the Republican Party of Texas. So as my counterpart, Jon Spiers, likes to say, we're from the state and we're here to help, which is not a good thing sometimes. I also want to tell you that I am the chairman of the special committee on vaccine mandates for SREC and RPT, and I'm a registered pharmacist, and I am not an anti-vaxxer, although I've been called that a couple of times. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. And this committee that I chair is not an anti-vaccine committee. It is a pro-freedom, anti-mandate committee. Getting that out of the way. We started back, Chairman Matt Rinaldi told us back in September during the third special session of the legislature that he felt like we needed to get involved on this issue. And we did, and on October 1st, our committee met for the first time. And on October the 8th, October was a very busy month for us, we issued an open letter to Governor Greg Abbott along with a resolution defending medical freedom and personal responsibility, and we sent it to the governor. And the governor, we were asking him to simply do something about protecting citizens' rights from these unlawful mandates. And the governor obliged on October the 11th. He issued Executive Order GA 40, banning vaccine mandates in Texas, and he added the vaccine mandate issue to the call for the third special session of the legislature, which was currently in progress. So on October 14th, again, we were very busy that month, the Vaccine Mandate Committee met, and we decided to, there were a lot of bills filed, but we had one unique bill that we voted to get behind, and that was House Bill 168. Who's familiar with TLO, Texas Legislature Online? Okay, if you're not a true political nerd if you don't go to TLO. Okay, so you need to get there so you can be cool like the rest of us. TLO, Texas Legislature Online. Go there, you can watch the sessions, you can read the bills. House Bill 168, I want you to read it. It's fairly short, it's very unique, and it's very impressive. We decided to back that. It's from Brian Harrison, Representative Brian Harrison. He's new to the Texas House. I'm going to tell you his credentials because I think they're germane. Representative Harrison was the Chief of Staff, I always have to read this because it's kind of complicated. Chief of Staff for the Department of Health and Human Services under President Trump. Wow. That's what I said, wow. And he was an integral leader in the development of Operation Warp Speed, as well as many early COVID-19 treatments. He's also fully vaccinated and boosted. Again, not an anti-vaxxer, okay? He's a true believer. But he also believes in personal freedom. And so he wrote House Bill 168, and these are some of the provisions of the bill. It's unlike any other bill. It's universally applicable. It applies to all Texans from birth to death. It prohibits all mandates for COVID-19 vaccines from both government and private entities unless the individual to be vaccinated provides informed consent. It makes clear that any individual who is coerced or forced to receive a vaccine against their wishes cannot provide informed consent, and therefore if that's a violation of this law. It prohibits anyone from vaccinating any individual without their informed consent, and it makes a healthcare provider who violates that act liable for damages in an amount of not less than $5,000. It takes the onus off business. It's genius. I don't see how any business owner or employer could object to this. It's an HR dream. You send them down, get the vaccine, they don't sign informed consent, there is nothing anybody can do. You can't punish them, we're done. Okay? 46 members of the Texas legislature co-authored this bill. That's how popular it was and how impressive it was. We got on it right away. We said, we're in, sign us up. Well, unfortunately, we didn't have enough time. We ran out of runway. October 18th, the third special session ended sine die and no ban on vaccine mandates. So on October 20th, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick called for a fourth special session. And we said, we agree. We think there needs to be a fourth special session to take care of some unfinished business, one of them being the ban on vaccine mandates. So we sent yet another open letter to Governor Abbott asking for him to call a fourth special session, but that has not happened yet. We haven't given that. So on November the 4th, well, excuse me, I'm not contagious, I do not have COVID, I have winter crud, and I cough sometimes when I talk.
I have natural immunity.
Yeah, do you? My son says he identifies as vaccinated. I love that. Identifies as vaccinated. So anyway, on November the 4th, we issued our 4-day fourth campaign. Okay, I'm getting the sign. 4-day fourth campaign. Go to texasgop.org, and at the top, one of the items you can click on is text ledge. Click on it. Don't hover over it with the drop-down menu. Click on it. And you will see there a list of legislators that have signed onto our 4-day fourth list. Those are legislators, there are 30 of them, that are asking the governor to call for a special session. We can get this done in 4 days if we have the political will to do it. We don't have it yet, but if everybody calls their legislator and their senators, their House members, we can create the political will to do this, okay? Tennessee did it. Florida did it. Texas should have been the first ones to do it. We should have led in this issue, okay? You know about the SCOTUS decision today. They stayed the OSHA vaccine mandate for businesses greater than 100. But the healthcare worker mandate still stands. We've got to support our frontline healthcare workers. Many nurses have lost their jobs. We've got to take care of this, folks. There's no excuse. No excuse.
No, she loser.
Thank you.
You probably are unaware of how much time these SRC members spend and away from their family because they're up there in Austin trying to get some things done. So
I take mine with me.
great idea.
He's my chauffeur and escort, so.
There are over 100 judges in these common races in Harris County. We have a conservative candidate in every single one of the judges' positions. And the toughest ones to get candidates for are the criminal courts. Because first of all, those attorneys are probably making a lot of money. And secondly, when they get up there, they're gonna be overseeing their fellow attorneys that they've been working with. So it's tough to get there. We've got a gentleman here this evening that's coming up to speak to you, Mark Gold. Mark?
Thank you, Gail. I'm gonna put this time on too. So I think I'm the only candidate here that is running for a trial bench. And in a few minutes, I'm going to do something that no candidate has done yet here, and I don't think any candidate will ever do. But first I want to introduce myself. So I was a 3-term city council member, and Vidal, I had the honor of nominating him for port commissioner, and it was a big fight because Lee Brown was the mayor at the time, and luckily we had enough conservative votes and got Vidal elected. And speaking of which, my first term as city council member, for the first time, we overrode the mayor and we actually lowered the tax rate. And it was the first time it had been done, and the Republican Party gave us an award for that, for lowering the tax rate, and I think we were able to do it the next time too, which is something that hasn't been done lately. I worked in Iraq for a couple of years for the State Department. As you remember, there was Saddam Hussein, he was the dictator, there was no parliament, there was no judges, so we had to teach them the rule of law, teach them how to hold elections. They didn't know anything. We had to teach them what a committee was, what an agenda was, and they would look at our budget and they would say, wait a minute, where's the part that we get money for bribes? And that's what they wanted. So we actually put something in, we gave them a car allowance for 6 cars, and they said, there it is. So that was quite an experience. And right now I'm currently a felony prosecutor for Harris County. And which leads me to what I'm going to tell you that no one else will do. So the incumbent judge in County Criminal Court number 8, his name is Franklin Bynum. Most candidates won't tell you who their opponent is. I want you to remember his name, Franklin Bynum. Not only do I want you to remember his name, I'm telling you to go to his website, Bynum, Franklin for Judge. And he also has a Facebook page, Franklin for Judge. You've got to see it. This guy is not really a Democrat, he's a socialist. And he'll say that. He makes AOC, who's also a socialist, he makes AOC look like a conservative. And you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, he is for the abolition of jails. He doesn't want any jail or any prison. He basically wants the police not to arrest them, but just to talk to them. He doesn't think police should be arresting anyone. That's the kind of person he is. And there's all these socialist national magazines and newspapers that are doing articles on him and saying, we've got a judge in Texas who's leading the way. We're going to get rid of jails. We're going to get rid of police. There's a famous picture of Franklin Bynum. He's wearing a t-shirt that says defund the police. That's our judge. He is the lowest ranked, or he had the worst score in the bar poll of all the 16 judges or any of them running for re-election. He was the worst. So I want you to remember that name, Franklin Bynum. I want you to go to his website. You will be shocked because some of you may not believe what I'm telling you. So I'm running against him, and the other things I have there are things that he's not doing right now. Following the law, fairness to all the parties. He's not fair to the parties. He's certainly not fair to the DA's office. He was a defense attorney. He was with the public defender's office. And guess what? He still works for the public defender's office on the bench. He will help out defense attorneys. He'll stop the trial if they're doing something wrong. I mean, it's really, really outrageous. He has had 14 complaints from the DA's office to recuse him on cases. There was a couple days where they filed a recusal on him on every single case on the docket for 2 days. Luckily, they came to an agreement and he backed off. That's how bad he is. Setting bonds and amounts and conditions, taking public safety into consideration. Let me talk to you about this. That's the problem with this guy. He's giving not $100 bonds, free bonds. And there was a case, it was not his court, but most of the other judges are just as bad, that I handled. And it was these 2 guys, and they would break into cars. Now, burglary of a motor vehicle used to be a felony, now it's just a misdemeanor. They would break into cars late at night, as those 2 guys. And they had already done it 3 times. Here they did it again and they got caught. I knew the judge was not going to keep them in jail or give them a high bond. It's going to be a $100 bond. So I was trying to be creative and I said, Judge, okay, you're going to give them a PR bond or a free bond and let them get out. But can you make it a condition of the bond that after 9 o'clock at night, they are not allowed to hang out together, or they have a curfew. They can't go out at night. Because otherwise now they would be violating the bond instead of just the law. She said no. I was back in that court with those guys, 5 days later, they had broken into several cars at West University. That's how, I mean, the thing is, once a judge lets someone out and they have 3 or 4 pending cases, it's no longer the defendant's problem. Now it's the judge saying it's okay. There are no consequences. You're going to get out. And now let me tell you a dirty little secret. So they get 10 cases because they know it, their defense attorneys know it. It's just like when you get a traffic ticket. And let's say you get one for no license or no registration or no seatbelt, 3 things. You know when you go, they'll dismiss a couple of them. That's what happens there. So if they have 10 cases, they might plead on 1 or 2, all the rest are dismissed. And now guess what? Commissioner's Court takes those statistics and they see all the dismissed cases and they say, look how bad the DA's office is. They prosecuted all these people who didn't deserve to be prosecuted and their cases were dismissed. That is a false and misleading statistic. They were dismissed because that's the only way we can get justice and get them at least a conviction or some jail time. Because right now there's not a lot of trials going on. We have to do jury selection at NRG, and I think now they're even going to stop the jury trials. And so why, if you knew that you didn't have to go to trial, why would you ever plead? You're going to wait around, maybe it'll take a couple years, the cop's gone, the witness is gone. Guess what? You're free to go. That's what's happening in our criminal system. The other thing I want to do that I think the DAs will go along with and the defense attorneys are going to go along with, it's called bench trials. It's court trials. You don't need a jury. It's much, much easier. It's easier on the witnesses. You know, you can start and stop, you know, according to what they need. If we start doing bench trials, then we can start getting some justice for all these thousands and thousands of cases that are lagging out there. Once again, my name is Mark Goldberg. I'm running for Harris County Criminal District, Criminal County Court number 8. I was getting confused because I wanted to remember Franklin Bynum. Look up that name and I'll get your vote.
So, one of the busiest, hardest working candidates that I know is Dr. Jon Spiers. How many of you know Dr. Spiers? Well, quite a few of them. Outstanding individual. And unfortunately, he's traveling right now. I'm going to try and make this work for us, folks. So bear with me for just a moment.
Start over. I go to law school. I became an attorney. I began helping people in another way. I fought against government overreach, and I've helped folks build dreams. I've joined entrepreneurs working to bring critical, essential industry back to Texas, so we are never dependent on foreign powers to supply our basic needs. I fought against government meddling in healthcare, and I became frustrated and disgusted with the American Medical Association and other organizations claiming to advocate for folks like you and me, sold out to the Affordable Care Act. Like you, I was disgusted with the politicians that we elected assured us that they had a plan to prevent Obamacare, and then they were going to replace Obamacare. And in the end, well, you know what happened. They did nothing. Through all of this, I found myself more and more active in politics. And that's just the first part of my journey. In 2017, after Harvey flooded my home, wiped out the first floor entirely, I was asked to run for Congress. Now, I had no preparation. I had no money. I had no campaign apparatus, and I had no house. So what did I do? I ran. I ran to provide a voice to the people and to offer real solutions. Since then, as part of my law practice and as DC, and let's be honest, in Austin. Forget the people who put them there. I know we had to grow our conservative base, so I began traveling the state, helping activists and county parties build their networks and strengthen our conservative voice. And while I was working a lot, I was listening even more. I heard people all around the state say the same things. We need folks who are not politicians to run for office. We need folks who won't fail to deliver on the simplest of requests from the grassroots, and then make a shallow promise that if elected just one more time, they finally get the job done. We need folks to run for office who are not just trying to climb the ladder to an even higher office. I was asked to run for land commissioner by grassroots activists just like you. I'm humbled, but I'm answering the call. I'm here to serve. The land office has several defined duties. The land office operates the Alamo, and I don't have to tell anyone that the GLO can do a better job at managing the Alamo. We're not going to be reimagining any of Texas's history. The land office works with the State Board of Education to manage the permanent school fund. We have 13 million acres that are devoted to the permanent school fund. 13 million acres is 8 times the size of the entire state of Delaware. Every day we'll work to generate excellent returns on these lands while protecting them for the future. We'll do this with transparency and integrity. Our school children deserve this, and we will deliver. The land office serves our Texas veterans. I've worn the uniform. I love the men and women who serve. I've cared for hundreds of veterans at our VA hospitals and in the community. I understand many of the hurdles and challenges they face. The land office will be a willing partner to all the agencies who serve our great veterans. Veterans will have an ally in the GLO when you elect me. Our land office also manages the hundreds of miles of Texas coast. Preserving our shoreline for all Texans to enjoy is very important. The land office will work with and protect the property owners along our coast while making access to the beaches available for all Texans. The coastal management includes not just responding to problems like beach erosion or oil spills in the Gulf. It also means preparing for disaster. The GLO will be an active leader in strengthening our coastal regions to withstand the ravages of hurricanes. And speaking of hurricanes, the GLO is also responsible for helping Texans recover from all sorts of natural disasters, whether hurricanes, wildfires, or flooding. And like many of you, I've suffered greatly during Harvey. My home flooded, my business suffered, and the frustrations of rebuilding a community and a life are certainly no stranger to me. I promise you this, the GLO slashes red tape and be much more timely and efficient in responding to people's needs. We'll get our paperwork into Washington. And there is one issue that should be on everyone's mind, and I'm sure each of you thinks about this every day, our southern border. Our southern border is not secure. The land office manages almost 600,000 acres of land along the southern border. Human traffickers, drug traffickers, cartel members, and suspected terrorists, they all cross at will. The land office will work every day to strengthen and protect the border, to protect Texans, to protect Texas. We will succeed. My promise to you is simple. Every day I'll work for you. We'll work to protect and honor our history, build for our future, and we will make a safer, stronger Texas. Don't settle for a pre-packaged politician. You can have one of your own at the helm of our oldest state agency, working for you every day. To do this, I am humbly asking for your vote, your time, and if you're able, your financial support. Join me in this fight. Go to drjonspiers.com to learn more. Follow the campaign on Facebook. Tell your neighbors about the campaign. And let's send a message to the world that Texas is always going to stay Texas. I'm Dr. Jon Spiers, your neighbor, your friend, and your candidate for Texas Land Commissioner. May God bless each of you, and may God always bless Texas. And thank you.
We need that guy. Let me tell you, we need that guy. So we want to take just a moment and share some things with you. I spend most of my time working with people on how to communicate better he's the man, one of our top leaders in the Harris County Republican Party. And I also work on the 2022 primary committee, coming up March the 1st. So, I just wanted to share a couple of things with you. Get your checklist out and start going to work. There's some things that you could be doing locally. Doesn't have to be on a large area basis, but locally, become an election judge or an alternate judge or a poll watcher. Poll watcher is so important for us. We've got the early voting started right away. We need to get started on it. Block walking every week. Some of you are doing a lot of that. Support the candidates. One of the most important things we can do is go to those candidates' fundraising events and support them any way we can. Attend the local precinct team sessions. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Attend the Conservative Leaders Forum every month. Volunteer with the Harris County Republican Party. Build your team. Call or text your voters. I found that texting, it turns out that most texts are read within 3 to 5 minutes. It turns out that 1 out of 17 emails gets read. And you know about the phone calls. We just play tag all day. So get out and give some talks about conservatism to organizations. Post your successes on social media. Give first to receive and network every single day. One of the things I enjoy most every week on Tuesdays is called Weekly Fire. If you're missing that, you need to be involved with it because some tremendous training goes on with that. All over Harris County, there's a number of small, local meetings going on. I've just put a couple of them up there that I personally have been involved with. One of them, the Katy Precinct Team Meetup, that's kind of the West Houston, Katy area, and Becky Green has been a speaker at that event. Contact James Clayton. It's this coming Saturday. It'll be at 5:30 p.m. And then the Westside Conservative Group, I didn't put meeting locations or times on there because Dave Lampenfield chooses who's going to be involved with that group. So very, very, very important. Okay. The next meeting for Conservative Leaders Forum is going to be 17th of February, right here. We've already got Commissioner Jack Hagel that's going to be speaking. We've got Mike Schofield, or this area's HD 132 area. Mike Goldberg, you've heard him talk tonight. He's got more time next week. Don Huffines is wavering. He may be here. We'll have some great information for you. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for attending. We're going to have all of the candidates get together for a quick group picture. Those 7 individuals that were speaking here. And we want to wish you a safe journey home. Thank you.